some fucking yuppie to tell me. Yes, my people, well gone, we're back. Today we have got a sponsored episode, right? Skottsberg have sent us some beautiful outdoor heavy duty cooking equipment, and we're doing a little recipe using some of their beautiful products. They also sent us this wonderful knife, so it's not just pots and pans. Wow, what a beautiful knife. But yeah, we're back. We're doing a recipe from the book today, which is brine chicken, beautiful rice, chips, Turkish ketchup, and a little spicy crumb thing, right? So we're gonna start from the top. Heavy pans. We're gonna dry brine a chicken, right? So we've heard about wet brining. If you've watched the chicken burger video, you'll know about a wet brine. This one is a dry brine, which means we're only using salt and herbs to add in flavour, to draw out moisture, but to also soften our chicken, right? So I've got a normal bird here, organic, free range. Chop off his legs. Jesus, I'm sharp. And then what we want to do is take out the backbone. Backbone's out. Now, this is essentially a roast chicken that we're doing outdoors in the wood oven. And you could do this as a whole bird roast chicken on a Sunday, but I feel like when you spatchcock and you split the breastplate and you've got a flat chicken, it just means that it cooks more consistent, more evenly. It also means that it cooks quicker, but it also gives us the opportunity to completely marinate the chicken. So not just the skin side, we're getting on the interior as well as, right? So chicken's been spatchcocked. And then I'm just gonna talk to you about dry brine, right? So in here, we've got salt, sugar, coriander seeds, cumin, and that's like the dry side of our dry brine. 3 parts salt to 1 part sugar and flavors, right? Then we're gonna go in with some citrus. So we're gonna go in some lime zest and lemon zest. And now this is just gonna give us acidity, floral notes, background tone. And I kind of want that little like, ooh, what's that flavor? Do you know what I mean? You can do a very simple dry brine of like salt, sugar, black pepper, good to go. But when we're given the opportunity to add flavor and impart flavor, why not add in things that you like, right? So then we go in with a lemon. Now this is a recipe from the new book, Smoke and Seasoned Bread. If you haven't bought it, please do. But I was sat in a little butcher's in Istanbul on my own, eating a whole rotisserie chicken, just off of a bit of parchment paper with a handful of chips. And the special thing about it was I was given a little sachet of like this secret spice rub, and a sachet of Turkish ketchup, and I just sat there and ate it barbarically with my hands and was like, I don't roast enough chickens, man. So I thought I'd come home and make one to almost go against traditional Sunday roast. We never really did traditional Sunday roasts at my house because we always did Sunday barbecue. So this is kind of like a mishmash between a Turkish chicken and a Sunday roast. It's a combined flavor and heritage thing for me, right? So we've got lemon zest, salt, sugar, and our herbs, right? Now, you can put this in a spice grinder. I know the coriander seeds are a bit bitty, but I don't mind texture. Also, when you dry brine, right, not all of this is going to stay on the bird. What we're looking for it to do is draw out moisture, impact flavor, and then we're going to brush away so that we haven't got loads of like excess salt on our bird, yeah? So, again, these are the dry ingredients, and we'll just go in with some fresh ingredients too. So I've just got some thyme. Again, a nod to like British Sunday roasts. I'm just going to peel away the leaves. Now, with this being a brine, it doesn't have to be special, but yeah, if you're doing this in a blender, still take off the leaves from the stalks, then blend it. And also, you could brine anything with this, man. You could do a piece of steak, you could do a bit of pork, you could do whatever you want. But I find that with a bird like chicken and with it being temperamental and drying out. It's the kind of thing, it's the right flavors for chicken territory, right? Give that a mix through, and I'm almost like bruising it as I mix through it because I want like the oils from the thyme and the rosemary to come through, right? So be quite rough with it. And also this is helping break up the maldon, the brown sugar, the spices, the coriander seeds, and everything's getting an opportunity to meet and get to know each other. Yeah, it's salty. Ooh, it's quite spicy. So, what we're going to do now is we are going to get this in our bird, right? So, want to coat the chicken quite generously, because as I said, we're going to brush this away. So, I want to get in all the little nooks and crannies into the backbone, down the breastplate, and we're going to let this sit on our chicken overnight, right? You could do this for like 6 hours or a few hours, but it's not the kind of thing that you can just do and then be like, right, it's good to go. We want to give this a nice slow time to brine. So it's almost, I think brining is a scary word, right? It's just marinating with drawing out moisture, and by drawing out moisture means that we have more opportunity for flavors to impact, right? So brine's in. I don't bother going under the skin because we're going to pack this chicken full of butter so that when it roasts, we almost make like a brown butter dressing to go over the top. And just make sure you've got full coverage in the little cracks. And then we're going to stick this in the fridge overnight and just let the brine do its thing. So you'll find that when you brine it, that there'll be like little bits of liquid in the bottom. That's fine. That's just the brine doing its job, right? You'll end up put that in the fridge. We'll end up with something that looks a little bit like this. We'll end up with something that looks a little bit like this. Get out of here, man. So this is a chicken that I brined yesterday. In there, I've brushed away as much as possible, right? But I want to keep some of the bits on. You can see here how the breast meat has like taken on that colour and flavour, and we're basically looking to impart flavour thoroughly. So sometimes you get a marinade that just sits on the outsides. It's the outskirts of your meat or your chicken. With a brine, we're giving it the opportunity to penetrate deep inside, yeah? And that's over time. Anything with a longer marinating process actually gives you the time to break down the proteins in what you're working with. It's all science and jargon, but it means for us in layman's term, flavour, cuz, you get me? So, I've got this beautiful griddle pan, heavy duty griddle pan. So when you're doing anything in a wood oven or in a high temperature oven at home, you want something that's like heavy duty, that's gonna hold heat. These go in ovens, handle and all, and you want something robust and sturdy to take on intense heat and give you thorough cooking, right? So not only with this are we getting heat from the top of the oven, giving us crispiness and deliciousness, but because it's a griddle pan and the base of the pizza oven heats up, we're gonna get heat from the bottom also, right? Essential if you're going away camping like I do all the time, right? Take some proper pans with you and not have a shit dinner. Easy. So, I am going to put this chicken in this griddle pan, right, like this. And if you're wondering about size, it fits a chicken, right? That's an ideal size. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna separate the skin a little, right? Just gonna put my fingers underneath. Just get in between the meat and the skin so that you can see I'm in here, right? And what I want to do is just poke in a good amount of butter. Like your mum or your dad would do on Christmas Day with a turkey. We're doing the same with this bit of chicken. This is going to give us moisture. It's also going to caramelize and go delicious, but it's going to leave flavoured bits of butter in the bottom of this pan, right? And that will help when it comes to dressing the dish, we'll have this little secret chickeny butter that we can pour over the top. And also, so look, it's got a nice little spout here, so that anything that collects in here, resting juices, we have the ability to pour out and keep flavour, right? So, chicken, butter, heat, it's all things we're familiar with. It's all things that are going to be delicious, that we all know, we all love. Now, I know we've dry brined this chicken, right? And it sounds like a lot of salt, and it is quite a fair bit of salt, but I still want salt on the exterior. I still want the salt to be on the outside of our bird. So I'm gonna go a little bit of olive oil. This is just gonna help with cooking, blistering under intense heat, right? And then, good crack of salt. No salt, nothing comes to life. You need to think of salt of like the baseline, right? Without a baseline, the tune's dead. We need a baseline cut, you get me? So this, I'm gonna stick in the oven, right? Now, when it comes to wood fire oven, I don't really know what I'm doing, right? I don't think anyone does. Yeah, you've got hot spots, you've got control. You've just got to be vigilant, right? It's not like cooking in a conventional oven indoors, which again, I don't think people actually understand because temperatures aren't regulated. Just the oven says 200, but it's really doing 160. So we've done all of these cute things to our chicken, right? We just need to make sure that the execution's right. So my oven is currently sat at 200, yeah? But I want it to be a slow cook. I don't want to go in there fierce. I want the chicken to cook before the skin crisps, if that makes sense. So we're going to go in and just watch it. I reckon between 35 and 40 minutes to get a nice, delicious bird. So in it goes. Whole pan, handle. Just remember, right, that when you can put a handle in the oven, it means the handle's going to come out hot. So always use a tea towel. And if you've got a Sunday sessions tea towel, thanks, congratulations. So yeah, let this go, slowly, slowly. I'm gonna put the cover on it for now, where it's sat at like 200. I just want it to trap in some heat. Sorry, here am I. I just put the cover on it. I want it to trap in the heat and make sure that it's cooking consistently. I don't want to lose all of the top heat out of the front of the oven. So we've put the trap door on and we're just gonna make sure to check it every now and then, looking at the temperature gauge and make sure we're not teetering on like the 300s, right? But yeah, chicken in, 40 minutes, let's make a rice. So like most cultures, right, Turks are very rice heavy, yeah? So we're making a rice today called mevlevi pilav, right? Which is normally served for like Ramadan. Big up Skottsberg. Look at this beautiful knife, man. Comes in its own little wooden box. I'm about to bash through some onions and hopefully not chop off every remaining fingertip that I have. Yeah. Yeah, so Turks, a lot like other people, reliant on rice and carb heavy things, right? And I think ooh, this is nice. You wouldn't want to cut yourself with that in the wilderness. We're gonna do a rice that is a celebratory rice, but I think it goes well with roast chicken. So we're doing roast chicken and we're doing chips. I'm not making the chips because you've seen us make chips a million times. They're just currently in the air fryer. So, dice up an onion, and like when I'm cooking anything that I want to be like delicious and fun, right? Now, delicious and flavorful, I always start with onions, and it's about how you cook your onions depends on what you get from them. So you can go soft and translucent, which is like background, or you can go deep and caramelized, which is sweetness, or you can sit in the middle. What I hate seeing is people throw onions into a pan, wait for them to change color a little bit, and then go ahead. You're not building any depth and any flavor. And with things like rice, it's key to get those lovely flavors in the beginning, in the pan, which then flavor your rice, right? Look, so we're 10 minutes in, we're starting to get crisp, it's firming, it's tense. It's gonna pick up flavors from the smoke and the logs on the inside. So we went 10 minutes deep inside. I'm just gonna sit it at the front now and it's slowly gonna tick while the rice cooks, right? As you can see, it's starting to pull away from the bone here, and it means we're under fierce heat, and I wanna keep these little charred bits as char and not burnt. So we're gonna go nice and gentle from now on. Nice heavy base cast iron pan means we're gonna get like consistent cooking all the way round. And we're just gonna really look after these onions now. So olive oil in with onions. Onions need salt. It's gonna help us break down, release their juices, caramelize quicker. And we're just gonna let this do its thing for a bit, right? Now, the other thing that's gonna give us sweetness in this salad is raisins, but also carrots. Carrots carry a load of sugar. So we're gonna go carrots and onions as our base. And these are gonna be like little diamondy flecks of carrot in a nice rice, goes a long way. So we're just gonna do little battens of carrot, right? Because I want them to be present and visible, but also these are gonna cook. They're gonna need a lot longer to cook than onions, so you need to think about stages and going in at the right time. So I can now smell that my onions are starting to cook and soften and going sweet. So we're now thinking about the next thing that goes into our pan and building like the foundations of a good dish, right? So the good thing about cast iron, right, and these Skottsberg pans is that cast iron's naturally non-stick, which means as soon as it gets hot, it gives you the ability to sear, to caramelize, to have a non-stick coating that you don't have to worry about scraping with a metal spoon, which I get in the comments a lot. But we are using a wooden spoon today because I do actually listen. But yeah, cast iron, suitable for all heat sources, indoor, outdoor, induction. Just yeah, worth every penny, man. It's important to use good kit. Right, so onions starting to caramelize, carrots in. We just want to introduce them to the heat. The onions not so much, but the carrots will cook under the stock whilst the rice is cooking. So we just want to get the initial sweetness out of the carrot, right? We're gonna go in with some blanched almonds, let them toast off. These really do stay hot, don't they? And then we're gonna go in with some pine nuts. Now, nuts in rice is quite a Turkish thing. It's a celebratory thing. It's not every day, but back in the old days, it would have been a sign of like wealth and sophistication to be able to afford almonds and pine nuts. But they're also nuts that grow in that side of the world, and before money, things like nuts were used as barter. Like, I'll give you this bag of pine nuts for like 2 of those goats and that. So that's how the world used to work, yeah? And now we just get to sit in the garden and eat things. So just gonna give these a little toast. Everything's picking up the flavour. We've got sweetness, we've got semi-cooked carrots, lightly toasted nuts. I'm gonna go in with a little pinch of cinnamon. This is just gonna give us like fragrance, right? And then a little pinch of allspice as well. Stir those in and go in with a handful of raisins. Now, raisins again, they're going to give us sweetness, and you're starting to understand why this is a rice of celebration. It's things that are like in the olden days was celebrated, and we're like, oh my god, he's got raisins and almonds and pine nuts. So this is why it's a a dish now that's associated with wealth and celebration and tradition. We're going to go in with some washed basmati. Please wash your rice. You've heard me say it before. Wash it, take the starch off. I wash this in a sieve. Give it a 1 stir, don't stir it too much. Make sure it's seasoned. And then we're going to cover with chicken stock. And the pan is very hot. A little bit of chicken stock, a bit of sugar I'm just going to put in as well. Yeah, yum. Yum. So now all we need to worry about really is making sure that we cook our rice correctly, right? So the rule of thumb with basmati is like that much water over your rice, right? So the first crease of your finger. And then bring that to the boil. This pot has come up to the boil very quickly. You can hear, oh, burning my face. You can hear it conducting heat. They're great pans, not only for outdoors, but indoors too. So look, we're up, we're deep, we're dark, we're delicious. We're packed with raisins and pine nuts and carrots and all these celebratory things of wealth and whatever, but really we're just sat in the garden and waiting for a chicken to roast, right? So up to the boil, lid on. The lowest flame, which is always quite difficult when you cook outside, but with the heat that's already in the pan, we're already conducting. So we just want to keep the lid on now to steam the rice. One way to tell, come closer, George, come closer. One way to tell, right, is when you start to form, you know, like when you make a pancake and you've got these little bubbles here that are just sitting in and around the rice, right? That's when you know you've got enough liquid. At this point, when it's all about care and attention and steaming, right? So it's low heat to gently evaporate that water in enough time for the rice to be individual and cooked, right? So, lid on. I don't know, 7 minutes. I don't really count, I just look, yeah? Lid on. There's nothing escaping this now that the lid's on. We'll check it in a bit. When the water's completely evaporated, I'm gonna fluff it, stick a tea towel on top, and just let it sit until we need it, right? That's rice, ladies and gentlemen. It's not hard. You can put anything you want in it. I just put raisins and cinnamon in that. Mad. Oh, this just cooked a lot quicker. Chicken's been in for half an hour. We've got tight, taut skin, resistance underneath. And we're in the realm of like, rest me, please. Take me out. Rest me. And we've got all of this beautiful butter in the bottom of this pan, right? That we can slowly use. Sorry. We can slowly use to baste. Look at this, man. This is just all juice. A lot of the time, yeah, in my life, I feel like my brain goes a million miles an hour, yeah? Constantly having conversations and being a pessimist or just fucking chatting pure shit in my head. But then there's times when I'm like basting a beautiful bit of chicken or cooking something nice on the barbecue in the garden. And I'm just like, it's just serenity for me, man. This is like my happy spot. Doesn't necessarily have to be my garden, but there's just something about being fully invested and fully involved in a recipe and doing all the steps to get somewhere that's delicious and just almost like nursing and nurturing the whole idea of the process, man. Like, this for me is why I do this, bro. It's not for Michelin stars and rosettes. It's to just make nice food that people want to eat. It's like being a fowl. Right, so I'm going to pull the chicken out and leave it to rest. cooked for about 35 minutes, rested for about 20. Rice, cooked for 10 minutes, rested for about 20. The chips that I made are fresh out of the air fryer. Dog loves them. And we're gonna carve up, plate, eat, be happy, and pretend that we're in the wilderness somewhere, basically. It's all buttery and delicious. Look at this, man. Individual grains, no clumps, little flecks of like allspice and cinnamon, slightly charred almonds, sweetness from carrot and raisins, and we're just gonna bang this on a plate. This for me is one of the, I ate this in a restaurant in Istanbul that was, it specialised in food from Konya, and he was like, you've got to try our rice, you've got to try our rice. But they cooked it in, it had little bits of lamb in it, and it was cooked in lamb fat, and it was fucking amazing. Well, everyone's a lamb fan, isn't it? So I just thought we'd do one that was basic and cooked in chicken stock, because chicken is universal. Right, let's go with the star of the show. Oh. My God, my God, oh my God. Are you crazy, cuz? You see me? Ainsley Harriott. Straight through. Breastplate like this. Let's take the leg off. Look at all of this juice in here. Go straight through. The drum on the fire. Take the top bit off. I mean, this is the key to dry brining. You see how soft, delicious and beautiful. We haven't cooked this chicken under a really intense heat. We started it hot and then we just basically let it chill out somewhere warm, like in a sauna, for as long as possible. And what you result in from the brine is beautifully cooked, juicy chicken, bro. This is like a 1.3 kilo bird. You could whack off on your own. I know that I could completely demolish this chicken if you allowed me time and space. Brown meat, white meat. So soft, so juicy. Skin taut from brine and heat. Just fuck off, man. Please. At me someone that cooks chicken that good. In the comments, yeah? Ainsley Harriott, whoever it may be. At me, cuz. Okay, man. Chicken plated. And with this little spout that we got on the end of this pan, we can just pour over the resting juices and the butter. Just picked up all the flavours and the colours from the pul biber. It almost turns into like this beautiful fatty gravy. When I ate this in Turkey, right, there was nothing else in the shop. The rice and the chips were my addition, but what they did give me was a plonk of Turkish ketchup. Like that. And they have these little spice bags. I've made this spice myself, it's in the book. And then all I want to do is put a little mound of it on the corner of the plate. And that's like oregano, cumin, garlic, loads of delicious, nice things that you can pick up a piece, dip in some ketchup or sprinkle and whatever. And that's it. Rice, chicken, chips that we've been eating off camera that were a lot more than this, but I fed quite a few of them to the dog. You don't need nothing else, bruv. individual grains of rice is very important in the key to a good rice dish. You want the rice to be the main thing, but we've put sweetness in this. It's got background of like depth from onions. There's little raisins and pine nuts. Toasted off almonds give you crunch. The carrots are slightly al dente, delicious. And then, who ain't happy, right, with a big plate of dangerously moist chicken cuts? Stupidly moist. Dip in some Turkish ketchup. Little sprinkle of the ting. Thank you. Squash of half a lime. And then you've got acid, fat, heat, sweetness, texture. All the things you want to eat, man. And like, honestly, for an alternative Sunday roast, this is a banger. Tastes like Cyprus, bruv. Turkish ketchup, right, is sweet, spicy. For me, it's a nostalgic flavour. It gives me memories of being a child in Cyprus on holidays, putting it on weird things like pasta. But whenever I eat Turkish ketchup, I always feel a little bit more wholesome and rounded. That, yeah, we're distant Cypriots or we're distant Turks, but there's small little things that remind me of being a dual nationality kid. And chicken and rice and chips on one dinner is also another very big Turkish thing. Never enough carbs. Also, speaking of carbs, got some bread for the mop up. Yeah, man. I just don't know. Like, sometimes I watch people on Insta and that, and I'm like, it can't be that nice. People going, oh, yum, yes, delicious. But when you make something that you believe in and stand on, and it makes you feel like that, it's a big achievement, man. This one I'd love for you guys to make, man. It's important. It's one of the things that I ate on my travels where I was feeling lonely and sad. And it reminded me of being at home. We're back. I know some of you are happy to see me. Happy to see me. We're back temporarily. Big up Skottsberg for sponsoring this video. We love and appreciate you. And yeah, man, if you want us to do more, send us some more products and we'll bang out some food for you. Big up everyone. Thanks for watching. Are we back, cuz? Are we back in the garden? Are you eating nice things and refusing to eat? Have you not eaten your food in 4 days? Is it because I give you things like this? This beautifully brined chicken? Yeah? Watch us, bro. What are you on about, man? Bun everyone else, cuz.
Çok House Films.
Can you say films?
Film.
Films.
Films.